Ladies first, Allie, how was your week in business?
It's been good. It's
Yeah.
been good. I placed so I'll give you guys a background. My goal was to place 4 kids, and if I place 4 kids, then I was able to win a trip to Puerto Rico. And so we placed four, or I placed 4 kids. So we have 2 of them, and then 2 of them we found families for. So now I'm looking for 4 new families. So, and they can be anywhere in the US, guys. So anybody who's interested in hosting an international exchange student, please let me know.
So you're talking about Houston, Texas, and Florida. You talking about those places too?
Those places too.
Oh, I might know somebody in Houston, Texas. His name is Chris. I know another guy named Eddie. He's in Florida.
Lots of kids want to go to Florida.
Rudy's too busy building his business. He doesn't have time for kids.
I'd host plenty of them, but no.
We got two.
Hey, Scott's here. He's from Knoxville, man. He looks like he could use some kids too. Scott, he's like,
I would love to be able to. I cannot do that at this point in where I am.
That is awesome.
But here's the thing. You guys all know lots of people who probably could. So
yeah. There you go. All right, Gene, you're on deck for managing the waiting room, okay? All right, let's get cracking. I'm gonna mute everybody. Give me 1 second here. And then Gene, I'm gonna let you take over the management of everything, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Mute all. There we go. All right, we'll leave it to where you guys can unmute yourself. All right, and then Eddie, let's go ahead and unmute you. All right, dude, here we are. Oh man, yeah, we're just getting that feedback, but that's okay. I'll tolerate it. Does everybody else hear me talk with feedback? Yeah.
Yes.
It's your headphone, dude.
Yeah, I gotta get a new set or something.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'll just mute you. You can just mute yourself when you're not talking. How about that? There you go. All right. All right, and boom, you got that, Gene. Because Alicia's trying to get in, but there she comes. Okay, good. All right, I am going to get rid of this and get this show on the road. Welcome to everybody to this week's edition of the Business Doctor Show. Obviously, I got the shirt on. I take away the been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Well, I got a polo shirt. Okay, so John Pyron, the Business Doctor. I'm your host, and I got my counterpart here, Mr. Eddie, Capital Readiness Specialist, Eddie Mohammed. Eddie, tell us about yourself, Eddie, real quick before we get rocking and rolling, and why your clients call you the Capital Readiness Specialist.
Love it. Yeah, so former banker, 28+ years experience, excelled in commercial credit, commercial lending. I focus on helping companies achieve a state of capital readiness. And what does that mean? That means they have enough capital to operate, enough capital to make decisions when faced with opportunities as well as challenges, and take action and move forward with optimism. It's basically the equivalent of having somebody who's well hydrated, well rested, and functioning soundly versus somebody who's dehydrated and disoriented and not functioning at all. So it's definitely a state of wellness, if you will, that having a company in a capital readiness state is something of beauty to admire, because that's a company that's basically firing on all 8 cylinders, right, and functioning well and able to make decisions and take action. A lot of companies out there are always looking at things, waiting, putting it off for next quarter. It's all because of cash flow problems. So companies that I help them achieve capital readiness, we eliminate all cash flow problems and get them functioning correctly. So that's my goal with every client that I get in touch with, whether it's through John Pyron or other sources. That's kind of it in a nutshell, guys.
Awesome. Awesome. And as far as myself is concerned, John Pyron, the business doctor, just go to johnpyron.com, JOHNPYRON.com, or look up Google, and you will find all the information you need to know about me. I always joke around when I'm not joking. Been doing this show, this type of show since April of 2013. I've given away every single secret I've ever learned in the 35 years of business. You can literally build an entire company. Just going to my website, clicking on my YouTube channel, reading the blog articles, etc. Biggest challenge that you're going to have, which I have personally, every business owner out of, 1,081 business owners now, 10,000 sessions is good luck. At some point, you're going to run out of you, and you're going to be the problem. So definitely get a mentor, somebody to help you create that breakthrough. And that's a perfect segue into a star of the show today. And let me click his unmute button here. Mr. Rudy Hernandez. What's up, man?
What is up?
DOV Landscaping is in the house.
No.
Napa, California, where everybody around the world wants to go to for some great wine.
Yep.
And you started your business when you were 19, dude, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I started with my dad, as old as you could be to pick up a rake. And then in 2019, he gave me one of his probably shittiest customers. And so I kind of started there and moved up in where we're at now. So
Absolutely, man. And so now you're at the ripe old age of 22.
boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, what's it like? What's it like being that old, man? That seasoned as a business owner, dude. I
You
mean,
know, I feel like I'm getting late. I need to have a couple kids, but like I hear Ali talking about kids, and it's like, damn, I kind of
and so before we get started, I want to point out something because I'm going to set the stage for today's call. This is going to be one of those signature calls that takes away every single excuse that any of us could possibly have as a business owner. You don't have time. You're too young. You're too old. You didn't go to college, or you went to an Ivy League college, or whatever. The interview you're about to hear, I have personally witnessed this dude's transformation. We met in Latip in what I think January of this year, right?
Yeah, January, Feb, we started work. Yeah.
Yeah. So January of this year, you were 21 back then. Now, when
I
do you turn 20?
was
You turn
21.
23.
I turned 23 in May, so about 6 months, 7 months.
Okay. All right. So you were 21. You were like old enough to drink. That not that you weren't drinking before. I'm not going to expose any secrets, but that's okay. But,
Boom.
but literally, we met in the meeting. We had a conversation. You came up to me and you said, "Hey, I want to get together
Yep.
with you." Got together, did a strategy session. I was blown away at how young you were when you started and what you had actually achieved up to that point. So before I go any further, full disclosure, full disclaimer. This is an episode you're going to want to go, if you have any doubts, any frustrations, you start doubting yourself as a business owner. You are whining, crying. You just had a disappointment. You had everything fall through the cracks. Bookmark this episode and go back and listen and let Rudy here inspire you, because you called me, I think, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, because we're still working together after all this time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to reverse engineer it and lead back up to it because it's a phenomenal success story. Is you called me up and like, dude, I almost did it, man. I almost worked 100 hours this week. And I'm like,
Almost like
what?
this. So,
And you go, well, that was my goal. I'm like, hold on just a sec, time out. You set a goal to work 100 hours? Like, what the heck was that about? So give us older folks who, probably go to bed at 9 p.m. Because we're tired and we don't have that kind of stamina. What led you to set that goal?
okay, so the bigger thing for me was I am 22 and my party days were like say anywhere 15 to 20. And so like I was more of an optimizer back then. So I was like, how can I get the most amount of work done in the least amount of time? And so then when we started working together, I kind of more so my mindset changed to how can I maximize the time I do have to get the most out of it, not just how can I do less and get more. 100-hour work week was kind of one of those things where it just sounds interesting, like to be able to, oh, I guess as silly as it sounds to be able to say that you worked a 100-hour work week is, I feel like for me, like it's a small achievement that I could fall back on, kind of reach into the cookie jar whenever I'm feeling kind of down and be like, well, this shouldn't be any different from that 100-hour work week I put in that one time, or those couple weeks in a row. So that's kind of, there's nothing that's forcing me to do it. It's more just proving to myself that I can do it.
Dude. Now, we could end the show right here, right now. I mean, the golden nuggets you just dropped where you set the goal. Like, it's not like we got on a strategy session, like we talk every single week about your business. And I go, hey, man, you got to put in a 100-hour work week. It's like you did this on your own. You just said, you know what? And there's one thing that you just said is like, I wanted to see, I wanted to maximize the hours I actually do have.
Yeah,
Okay. Because we all have 168 hours in a week.
yep.
Okay. And I remember hearing this podcast earlier this year. And one of the roots of all unhappiness is when we start comparing ourselves to others. Okay. And I heard this guy and he put this perfectly. He said, you know what, I actually it was in the book Mere Christianity Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Okay. And one of the things he said is after all the research, after everything he said and done, he wanted to whittle it down to what is one thing every single human being absolutely has in common. And the actually only thing that we can actually compare ourselves to another human being. And he said, after all of his research, he came down to, I figured it out. We all have 60 minutes in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that I have been able to find out of all my research where we are 100% an identical match as a human race. And he says what we do with that 168 hours separates the people that achieve their potential. Now, he didn't say success, he said their potential, which is unique to all of us, versus living a life in our older age of shoulda, coulda, woulda. And one of the things that you literally prove to yourself is number one, correct me if I'm wrong, you can do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how bad or what kind of storm or what kind of, thing that you go into, you know that you can always work hard. You've proven it to
Yeah.
you've already checked that box, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to give everybody a glimpse into what I'm talking about here. When you and I started working together in February of this year, okay, you have a landscape company, okay, and give us an idea. How much was your monthly revenue back then?
Yeah. So for our landscaping, business. We don't do so much construction. It's more maintenance, recurring work, and lower ticket cleanups, mulch, simple stuff. And so like our revenue in Feb was around, I want to say 25, 30,000.
Okay.
Um,
And so, and then we started working together. I started, we started getting you out of the way and Santiago and Gustavo, who Chris Beasley now, because Chris runs the
yeah,
operations. Chris has become a fractional COO, is just a Jedi master at operations. And so, he's working with those two people for you now to free you up to go do more. And because now you're coming into now, quote unquote, we're entering the slow season, right? That's what everybody says. Like, oh man, yeah, we're entering the slow season. Times are going to be hard, but you're
yeah.
entering November and you're probably going to come in close to what?
So November last month we hit 96,000 and collected 90,000 billed. This November we should hit close to 80.
And last November, what was it like?
Last November was crazy. I think we did maybe less than half of that.
And so I want to just point out one thing. What did you do that was so unique that made that difference?
I think the biggest part was like you mentioned, getting out of my own way. I was always trying to do everything, be everywhere at once. Don't start before I get there. I was that kind of leader. And in my mind, I was like, well, lead by example. That's how I was raised. That's how I've always been mentored. That's what I knew from everything. I played sports, so I was coached that way. And I was never trained to be a leader by like delegate through delegation. So I think that has been one of the most impactful things that I've done is actually step back and looked at what I have on the table and actually organized it to where I don't have to be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
And I have made money that way now instead than as opposed to doing the actual labor.
Yeah. And so the other thing I've admired about you is you have dogmatically, consistently showed up every week to a call that we have scheduled. You've been honest, transparent about where you are, and you've been coachable, teachable, but more importantly, because no coach or consultant can take credit for the success, you actually went out and did the work.
Yeah.
Okay. And as a result, you learned a couple things about yourself. Okay. What are some of the key things as a business owner that has changed for you personally this year in terms of your attitude towards your business, how you show up, what you do? What are some of those key things that you've discovered about yourself personally as a business owner?
So I think the biggest thing for me that I discovered is that I was I was spending my time on the wrong things. And like I never thought going out with a contractor and talking about how we could do business together was progressive. Like furthermore, that it would actually generate me dollars and generate my guys' work. And come to find out, we took the TTI assessment, which is basically like a behavioral assessment of what I am and how I behave, what I kind of like to do, what I don't like to do, strengths and weaknesses. And talking with people is one of my strengths. And I was never playing into it. I always feared that I did too much of it. And now my mindset's changed into that's all I should be doing. I should be doing nothing but talking to people. I should be doing nothing but making connections. I should be doing nothing but building relationships. And so that's been a really drastic mindset change for me because I felt like listening to everyone around me, it was like just put your head down, do the work. Put your head down, do the work. And it will always like I always pictured I was always capped. I always had this like jar top that like I shouldn't be going out and talking to people. I should be doing the work, doing the actual laborious stuff, not understanding that that's not where my strength was. It's it's leading through the people that I'm hiring, not sitting there and doing the work next to them. And that's not what they appreciated either. My guys are a lot happier now. Our clients are a lot happier now. I'm a lot less stressed now. If there were one thing that I would like point my finger at, it'd definitely be that. And then there's obviously all the other small stuff too. I just that kind of domino, the domino effect from that is everything else that I do is a lot more laid back. I'm not always like looking over my shoulder, wondering if it's the right thing or not. I just know to play my part. I'll do my one. So I do my 111th. So I was on our football team. Our coach always said, just do your 111th. There's 11 people on that field. Don't try to do the next person's job. Just do your job, your 111th. Don't worry about the guy behind you. Don't worry about the guy next to you. Just trust that they're doing their job and you do yours. And that's another, it just kind of all relates to that is me being placed where I need to be placed and placing people where they should be placed and just trusting them to do their own part.
Got it. Now, one thing before I let you get off of that, because now we got to get down to some reality, okay? Because one of the things that you have said to me a couple of times, and I get this all the time from people, is that my ability to be candid or radically candid in a nice way, in a loving way, and there's a reason a month and a half ago that you decided, you know what, I need some help and enter COO mentor guidance Chris Beasley, right? And so what was the reason for bringing Chris into the fold? And I'm gonna go back to what you said. It's like you
Okay.
getting out of the way, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
what was it that you needed to get out of the way from that was the hardest part for you?
Okay. Shout out Mr. Chris Beasley. First things first, he just looks like a man of action. He didn't look like he wasn't really interested in talking. He just wanted to do stuff. And so that for me, I was like, boom, that's who I need. That so the that just the way he kind of presented himself. The second thing for me was I could do the operations, but and again, this is kind of going back to one of these sessions we had. I know now that this is stuff I didn't know before. Is like there's two people in a business. It's the visionary and the integrator. I don't like getting down in the weeds and doing the actual integrative work. I can't do it. And that's what you have to do when you're first starting off. But when you have to step back and look at things big picture, it's no longer, you can't spread yourself that thin. And Chris is kind of help in terms of the framework. If I have an issue or like, hey, I have this client, but I'm limited to this budget, I know I could go to Chris and he helps me break it down. All like the operative side of it has always been a downside for me. And so I had always had to try or do twice, if not three times as much work to get the same result. And so bringing someone like Chris in, the expectation for me and how it has played out is for less effort, I get more back and I'm not beating myself over it. It's proven. Chris has the experience. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, and so from a mindset standpoint, because I started my first business when I was 20, and I've gone through the mental gymnastics, all three all $3 million companies I've built and all this other stuff. But again, this is not about me, but it's just that there's a mindset shift that's very difficult for us as business owners. This is our baby. Like we
Yeah.
birthed thing and we did all the work. We changed the diapers. We got up in the middle of the night. I mean, we had to feed the kid. Like we did all the work, and now we're expected to trust
Yeah.
someone else with
Yeah.
our child is
Yeah.
basically what it comes down to. And so walk the people here through, and the people that are going to listen to this show, how you were able to navigate that mindset shift as a business owner, because this is the one area that gets most business owners stuck and they stay there forever. Okay. Because I
Yeah.
know it was scary, you
Yeah.
know, and I know it was a big transition. Like it took probably 2 or 3 months to make this decision. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you just well, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then all of a sudden you pull the trigger. Now I want to give everybody an insight. You were going into November, December, January. You're like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
already booking January and February. Like,
Yeah.
while all the other landscape companies in the planet in this region are slow seasons coming up,
Yeah.
you're like, your words to me were, I have to bring Chris on so I can continue to sell through the winter. And because I have a backlog, like I got people that want to sign right now. I don't have confidence in my operations
Yeah.
that I can spin all those plates. So walk us through how you navigated the mental gymnastics that we all go through as business owners, and how you were able to let go of control and trust Chris, because you didn't even know Chris until I introduced you to him.
Yeah. So that was really hard for me. I think if I were to go back to myself 6 months ago and just like kind of like that, go back and pinch yourself moment, I would say if the fear of procrastinating that came from not having the systems that I could rely on. And all, like what I mean by that is I back then it was just kind of like come here. I'd pull a guy aside, I'd teach him. I'd be like, "Hey, look, this is how the truck's set up. This is how you're gonna go to the dump. This is what you're gonna give them this card. They're gonna tell you this. But none of it was documented. Like there were no systems. It was just the Rudy told me to do this, so I'm doing it kind of thing. So I knew that my the that sense of mistrust didn't come from me not trusting the guys. It was from me not trusting the systems in place for them to be able to do their job correctly. And it wasn't their fault. It was not their fault. It just was me not having those systems for them to be able to execute the way I know they can. And they do. They're great. I have very good, highly competent guys. They just need that direction because they don't know what I really want. Like they could sit there and come up with 50 different things that I might want, but
So
me
hold on,
putting it
hold
on
on,
paper was good.
time out, just a second. And Eddie's going to have to jump in here, man, because Eddie and I deal with a lot of business owners. So and Alicia is here, like she deals with a lot of employees. It's like, are you telling me that it was your fault, not the employee's fault? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
No kidding. So I can't tell you how many hundreds, maybe thousands of business owners, and we all, Eddie, Eddie hears that. I'm just laughing because it's so funny. Man, those damn employees, man, if they would just get their act together, if they would just do this, if they would just do this, life would be better. My company sucks because they suck, you know?
Yeah.
And it's all about the employees. It's their fault.
Yeah.
But the one thing you've done at a 22-year-old maturity level is you're like, you took responsibility for it.
I can't give another person control of how I'm feeling, right?
That's it. That's it. And by doing that, by stepping up and being the actual true authentic leader, catch us up with you now. Where's the business at now?
Yeah, so I guess I want to start with it. It's not like I said this one day and then it like boom, I'm not blaming anyone. Like I always used to blame everyone, and it took a while to get like on the other side of that. I think the biggest thing is just being aware, but once it clicked for me that like I can't give this guy control of my emotions, and I'll take it this time. It's my fault. Fuck. Am I allowed to cuss on here? Probably not, huh?
You be you.
I
You be
can't
you,
give him
man.
control. I can't give him control of my emotions. I need to take it. I need to take responsibility because he doesn't go to sleep at night thinking about my business. This isn't his business, it's mine. And where that kind of has brought me to now is when there's an issue that comes about, it's the highs are lower and the lows are higher. It's a little more stabilized. I'm not necessarily so beat up when something bad happens. I'm not overly stimulated when something nice happens either. It's just kind of, all right, what's next? I'll celebrate. I'll clap my hands for 5 seconds. The guys and I will celebrate. We'll have our hoorah moment. And then it's like, what's next? And same thing when something bad happens. It's this happened, then what?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're going back to it took me way more years than 22 years old, okay, to finally get to a place where and it wasn't until I listened to, I think it was chapter 6 of the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. He's like, take responsibility for everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to listen to that chapter like over and over and over again. He goes, man, I don't care if you leave your house and you get up to the stop sign and somebody rear ends your butt, you had responsibility at some point there. You could have left 2 minutes earlier. You could have
Yeah.
left 2 minutes
No
later, but
way.
there's no solution in the blame game. Successful people don't play the blame game. And there's you get anytime you play the blame game, you give somebody else all the power.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And so, and you and I've had conversation after conversation after conversation about this success principle, but there's a lot of freedom. And it's like you just said, it's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, high five, disappointment, and you snap out of it because you take responsibility for it all. And so I've watched you just execute, and then with Chris, just execute. And now you're going into a season where most landscapers are already looking at go, okay, who do I got to lay off now? Who do I got to cut back on? I mean,
Yeah. That
it's
was
the
us last year. Yeah.
yeah, and now you got a different problem. Is you're like, and what did we talk about? I think it was like last week or the week before. I'm like, yeah, keep the hammer pressed down because as your competitors are laying people off, those are your new employees,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so I'm proud of you, man. High five. And I want to give Eddie an opportunity to ask some questions real quick. And then I want to open it up to the audience here to ask some questions. Eddie, you got any questions you would like to ask Rudy about?
Yeah. Well, Rudy, I gotta say, man, I'm blown away. There's so many things that you said that definitely resonated with me. Ex-football player like yourself, both on the collegiate level as well as high school. And one phrase the coach always said to us during practice, he says, "There's no substitute for hard work." Right. So what I see, definitely, that's you bought into that a long time ago. The hard work, the ethic. I think with you, the only thing left to do to take you to the next level, because you have all the key elements in place, I think it's for the support team that you tapped into to figure out ways to help you work smarter so you can get a better ROI on your hard work, right?
Yep.
You've already accepted the fact there's no substitute for hard work, and you're going to continue to work hard. Now, I think with the help of these gentlemen, we're going to figure out ways to help you work smarter so you can get even a better return on all the hard work you're putting in. Make sense?
Absolutely.
So, with that said, you're definitely standing out from the competition as an individual. I'm trying to figure out. I'm having a hard time finding some good questions to ask this guy, John, believe it or not. But you know what? Let me start with something simple. You know, you're a young guy. You're only 22. Kind of give us a feel of your vision for yourself. I know a guy like yourself, hardworking, ambitious. I love the fact you're very ambitious, by the way. That's another trait, and maybe John forgot to mention, but it's almost a given. But it's always refreshing to see young, ambitious entrepreneurs. So being as ambitious and as young as you are, where do you see yourself and your business 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Open-ended question.
So it's actually, that's a perfect question, because I have a strategy session that I did in February, and that has my 5-year goal on it. And it's $10 million in revenue, top line, with about 10 locations, with a centralized location that hosts all the admin stuff. Stuff that Chris already is kind of working on. So 5 years from now, $10 million, 10 locations. So ballpark, each one's producing about $1 million. It's open to change for sure. With the ideal team being my younger brother. So I have a younger brother, he's 17, he's gonna graduate high school this year. Ideally, I'm stealing him as soon as he graduates. He doesn't even have a chance to pick up a job. So I'm gonna take him in, train him up, kind of shoot him over to John and Chris, and get the ball rolling, you know?
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And what do you know, all successful people who achieve great things usually have a strong why. Tell us about your why. What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? Share with us your why, you know.
That one, okay, that one's easy. My parents are immigrants. They came over here in the, I think it was late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, late 90s. So they came over here late 90s. My mom, while she was pregnant with me and she was living with my dad, their dining table was a cardboard box. They never had money, they didn't come from money. They never had that opportunity, but they believed in the American dream. That's why they're over here, right? And I've seen them firsthand build that. And so for me, I kind of see it as an obligation. I don't have it bad. I could quit everything, just chill, maybe go pick up a job or whatnot. And I would not be happy. It's just, I feel it's an obligation to take what they've created and just slingshot it forward. And now if I could pull my brother with me, pull both of my parents with me at the same time, that is my why.
No, that's outstanding. That's beautiful. Again, you know, I was born in a foreign country myself. I came here when I was 9. My brother was 8. I'm 45 now. So, you know, my why is very similar to yours. I have a daughter now who's in private school, and that was one of my biggest things. I'm a product of the public school system, so public school's not that bad, but I wanted to do better for my daughter. So since kindergarten up until now, she's in private. Yeah, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're in the right path. You're trust the process. You know, trust the people that are in your corner. They're all rooting for you. They're all your advocates, and you're doing all the right things.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So at this point, I want to open it up. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask Rudy? Or maybe you relate and you're like, I've got this problem in my business and you want to run it by Rudy or myself or Eddie or anybody on this this call, then maybe we can help you out.
I just wanted to say something. So, Rudy, I'm Alicia. I'm the owner of Turner Recruiting and Consulting, and I've had previous landscaping clients before. And, you know, John isn't wrong that there's a point where you know that you're coming to like a lull in that season, right? So,
Yeah.
landscapers, you know when that season is. And when I've done recruiting for them in the past, it's always like um, January, February, March, April, May, they're trying to hurry up and recruit for their summer, right? Because that's their
Yeah.
season. And then it dies back off. And I've always, I mean, of course, you can only do what you can do, what your business can do, but I've always, that, hurts my heartstrings when people are having to hire for a season, knowing that after that season, they're having to let people go. And I love that you are booked through the year and that
Yeah.
you are, your season doesn't end when the summer ends. So I love that for you. And congratulations on that, because I know that's not every landscaper has that same story. So that's
Uh-uh.
amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Alicia. It's yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much for you. So how many employees do you have right now?
So we're sitting at 6 full-time, 3 part-time. One of
That's
the
amazing.
part-timers in admin. So he's in the office. And
Yeah,
then yeah,
congratulations to you.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a little trip up.
Yeah.
that's still so incredible, because again, that's not the normal for a lot of landscaping companies.
Yeah.
When season ends, so does that payroll for a lot of those employees. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of the nature of the season. But congratulations to you. And I love your story and I love your why. I always want to hear everyone's why, because we all have one. It's a great
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
So you're no longer working the 100 hours now, though, correct?
I very much want to work 100. Yeah, I still am.
Uh-oh.
I still, so, and it's no longer like I have to. I want to, so Eddie asked me what my 5-year goal is. Ideally, I close that loop and it's not 5 years. So I'm compensating by throwing a couple extra hours a day on top of it.
Okay. So it's like paying off your mortgage. You're just paying off your hours.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put those hours in eventually,
Yeah.
so I might as well try to get them in a little sooner. And to your point, I was there. I went from like 2 guys to 12 guys in 1 year, and then I had to lay half of them off over the winter. I was never like an exception. I went through that, and it
Mhm.
sucks. It sucks so bad because
It does very much.
I had very good guys even then, and I just couldn't keep them. They knew I couldn't keep them. We tried everything. I would try rotating them. I'd lay one guy off for a month, then another guy off from. I tried everything I could. I lost a lot of money doing it, and it I was there too. It happens a
Yeah.
lot more than it should, but I was there too.
Yeah. And so what are some of the
I
things,
think that we've all been there.
Yeah.
yeah. So what is one of the things that you have done that can help everybody else here as well? What are some of the things that you've done to fix that problem? Because obviously you got marketing, you got sales, that's the top of that business funnel, right?
Yeah.
But give us some actual stuff that we can walk away with from today that people can actually take action on right after this call. What are some of the things that you do on a regular basis to keep that what you and I have talked about? It's like our business is like a fire pit.
Yep.
You did
Yeah.
all the work to get that fire blazing hot.
Yeah.
You and I both know, and this is something you have become a Jedi master at this. The moment you wake up, you're like, oh crap, I gotta put another log on that fire. And until I put another log on that fire, I can't rest. You know?
Yep.
How are you putting logs on your fire and keeping
So
your pipeline full?
I think and I think Alicia could even like tell her other landscapers this, or even send them this recording. But the first and foremost, like very easy. So yeah, I think I'm naturally lazy. So I'm looking for the lowest bearing fruit that I could just quickly pull off before I have to get a ladder to climb up. And that's just me. There's other people that aren't like that. That's not me. I would say every landscaper specifically, and this kind of extends past that with anyone in home service, has connections that they're not fully taking advantage of, that they're not providing the value that they really could to. And for me, that's our designer. We had a designer that would every here and then send us jobs. I never really pressured her. She never really pressured us. If there was one thing that if I was me 6 months ago and I heard this call, I would hop off of it, give her a call and invite her out at lunch. Just invite her out at lunch and just be like, hey, Tina, her name is Tina Johnson. She's a designer in our local area. And again, these are local people that people already know. They just don't take advantage of. And I would just ask her, how can I provide value to you? How can I get you work? And I believe in karma. I also believe in God. I'm a God-fearing man. I fully trust that with me helping her, I will receive some of that fruit back. And it's a low bearing fruit that I already know her. She already knows me. It's just a matter of me reaching out to her and throwing her work. And then she turns around, throws me work. If that, like that alone would drum up business next week.
Wow. Allie, Miss Relationship Connector.
Yes.
What he just says, I know warms your heart. Okay. So, talk to Rudy here because you already know what you've heard conversation after conversation of me and him talking, and you watched him implement this. This is the holy grail. We get more business when we figure out what somebody else needs and we serve them,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
I
so
definitely, I mean, that's the life I live. And so I completely understand what he's saying is, you know, people in business, it's okay to give something away for free. It's not going to hurt you. And if you believe in what you do and you know that you have value in what you do, it will come back to you. It's just a matter of being able to say, hey, it's okay if I give a little. And it
Yep.
sets you apart from other people. And even if it's helping other people within the business, I think that, even though if somebody does landscaping or somebody does banking or whatever it is, if you can give somebody even within your industry advice to help them grow, you know that you can't take every job. You're not going to get every job. You're
Yeah.
not going to get every sale. But if you can give that advice, that just sets you apart in saying, you know what? Hey, I know you do what I do, but let me help you. Let me tell you what I've done because there's value in it. And then that just alone right there will set you apart from everyone else. Because that's what I've done in my business. I'm okay giving advice or helping other people within my industry because I know what value I have
Yeah.
and it sets me apart.
yeah. And so I've watched you blossom with Tina over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, man, you guys are blowing each other's business through the roof, referring business back and forth, just, and it doesn't cost any money marketing wise.
And I track numbers. I track numbers, but whoever doesn't, I am a numbers guy. I don't do things that don't make sense. And I do like helping people, and I won't track that. That you can't track that. That's a soul thing. But with Tina, it's intentional planning. She knows what I'm there to do. It's not it's not like, hey Tina, let me warm you up and then I'm gonna shoot you out to a client of mine. She knows that I'm there to help her and I'm there because I want her to help me. And so say 3 to 4 months ago, as you mentioned, John, up until August, or July, August, I don't even know the month. So July, August, from January to July, August, she drummed up close to like $80,000 with the revenue for us. within the last 3 months, she's drummed up an extra 120,000 in less than half the time.
Yeah.
And so I track that though, and that's a me thing. Not everyone tracks it. I know a lot of my landscaper friends don't track stuff like that, but I just want to know that I'm not just guessing and that this stuff's actually working. And that is another thing that like I'm like John the business doctor. It wasn't free. You don't help me out for free, John. Like I have to make sure that stuff makes sense. It's not
I
like
don't
John,
have to help for free.
I know when John shows up to our meetings, he knows what he's there to do, and I know what I'm there to do.
Yeah.
But that's business. And I'm there to help other people. He's there to help me and other people like myself. And it's a numbers game. It really is. For me, taking that extra step to track it gives me the security that I'm moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Before I bring on Allie here, it's like what we did is we implemented a system called POI. Okay, person of influence. And if you're on the live call, Gene will post a link to like Gene actually heard me teach this over and over again. And I had 5 videos. Just follow the videos and don't worry about it. And she took it upon herself to actually write a book for me. Okay, or a PDF or whatever you call it. The thing is beautifully done, by the way. And so we implemented it with a strategy called POI. So if you are listening to the podcast or on the podcast channel, just I don't know, send an email, jpyron at johnpyron.com, or go and book an appointment. Gene will get that resource in your hand. But that system changes lives. It's about giving. It's about giving first and consistently giving, and it's a system for actually giving and setting it up where you get that in return. And so Allie has a question. Allie, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Well, it's not really a question. It's more of a statement, and it's kind of for everybody here. Everybody on this call has dated somebody in their life. And when you go into a relationship, right, you begin with courting them. You want to do this because you want their attention, right? You want them to look at you. You want them to remember you. You want them to know you. It's the same thing in business. When you're building that relationship with somebody, you have to date them before you can get married. And so it is taking them to lunch. It is giving them business back and not expecting something to come back. So when you're going and meeting with any client, you have to remember this is dating. This is dating, but just in business. And so we have to take somebody to lunch. We want to thank them. We want them to see the good, the bad, the ugly of all parts of us, because that's what we do in any relationship. So when you come to business, what he's doing is exactly what I do. I want to build that relationship. I want to date them. I want to court them before I can marry them in business.
Yep.
Absolutely. Eddie, you got a question?
No, just making a quick comment. I know one of the things when we sit in our professional group, right, of B2B professionals, we always ask who's your target, who's your ideal client, so on. So luckily for me, I'm able to do business in all 50 states, industry agnostic. But when it comes to the personality of a client, now I'm going to use Rudy as an example. I'm going to tell John, just find me a client that's just like that Rudy fella, and I think everything will be fine. He's the ideal client for us.
Oh, you're muted, John. Boom.
Oh, yeah. No, I had to unmute my own self. So coming towards the end of our call here, does anybody else have any comments, questions for Rudy?
I'll jump in and ask one if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
This could go to Rudy or to John or to both. How are you keeping yourself that busy? I mean, let's be clear, 100 hours a week is a lot, and you're doing a ton of work, which is good. You're moving the needle. You must be. But you're also looking all the way out as far as looking into next year in February or so. How are you finding folks that are ready to commit to those kinds of things this early for a business that's that far out? What are you doing to keep those things moving and get those wheels turning that way? Because that's a lot of really good business if you can make it happen.
Yeah. You mind if I take that, John?
Oh yeah, it's all
Hey, you know what,
you
Scott?
go
I
right ahead.
love your shirt color, by the way. Boom. So it's I get touching base back and kind of piggybacking off what Ali said. It's the same thing. It's a relationship that you build with your client. That is half of it. The other half is value stacking. And for me, so in our local area, we are able to guarantee plans for up to a year. We have a reputable presence on social media and on Google. Like people could go on Google, look at all our reviews. 70% of clients that I meet with, more often than not, bring up the fact that we are highly recommended on Google. Those are things that it's all social proof. And when you are able to build that, it takes time. It's not like from one week to the next, now people all of a sudden trust you. It takes time. You have to build it slowly. But if you're able to start the snow, and I made this mistake, John knows, as long as you're able to start that snowball and not put yourself in front of it and stop it, that snowball will go on for as long as you let it go. And that is how I typically am able to have people put 50% down of a $20,000 project for February in November of this year. And it just takes time. It's for sure a thing that takes time, and it's finding your value stack, like your set of values.
Yeah. And I mean, you came to me a little over a month ago and you're like, man, I got a new problem. Now, this is worth repeating because this is something I personally would go back and listen to over and over again. It's like, you're doing good in business when you're creating new problems. Okay. If everything is good, everything is good, everything is good, life is good, life is good, you're just like like I'm in the South now. It's like you're that calm before that tornado hits. Okay.
Yeah.
Because true business success and true business growth is going to create problems, both good and bad. And every single problem, the difference between successful business owners and those that have not yet learned this hard lesson, but they will if they're going to survive, is every single problem has an opportunity in it. You just have to look at it. And it's like Earl Nightingale said, I forget what it was, out of every adversity lies the seeds of an equal or greater benefit. You just have to look for it. And so Rudy comes to me, he goes, dude, I got a problem, man. I can't book any more work for November or December. This sucks. Okay. What? I don't want to walk away from, remember that conversation? You're like, I don't want to
At a
walk
higher price too.
I don't want to walk away from this. And I said, well, here's what we got to do is we're going to raise the price, number one. You're like, what? I'm like, you're like, that's not, no, 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 no. I'm like, no, no, we're going to raise the price because you can afford to have them say no, number one. Number two, you can say, hey, if you want to go now, then this is the price. However, okay, I will keep the price at my normal rate or at least close to that if we just book this in January or February. Okay. And and I mean it worked with flying colors, you know. And then all of a sudden the floodgates started the moment you committed to the action to solve the problem, it opened up a floodgate for other business. And so operating from a place of abundance versus scarcity is always the way to go. Never, ever, 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 never, ever rest on your laurels. What you think is closed today could be gone tomorrow. Okay. And quite frankly, just Psalm 139, verse 16, it's like, I knew you in your mother's womb. I saw you before you even took your first breath. I already decided the days that you're going to live, and I wrote it in my book before you even breathed your first breath. So the fact that we're all here today means yesterday wasn't the last day. Okay.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, who knows? Don't know. Okay. But every single thing, every single day that goes by, you hit the nail on the head earlier, and go back and listen to it if you didn't get it, is what drove you for that 100 hours. I want to repeat it, is like, I want to get the maximum value out of the hours I actually have, you know? And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean for that 100 hours you're sitting there going, doing the work, cranking, cranking, cranking. A lot of it's just strategic at that point. It's like, okay, what do I do now? I got my guys running by themselves. I got this. Now where do I spend my effort, right?
Yeah.
And then so when Chris Beasley comes on the scene, you have so much activity and so much going on. Chris, like, okay, we gotta get this system, this process, this system, this process, on and on and on. So that way you can expand your thinking as the CEO, as the leader, and work more and more on strategic things, because you're gonna find, and this is what you're starting to find right now, you're working more strategically on the business, not actually in the business.
Yeah. Yeah, and not that, like, don't get me wrong, that is the goal. And I don't know where you're at, Scott. Like, I want to make sure that question's answered. But the way I saw it, it was like you start as a laborer, anyone, anywhere. You don't have, unless you have the capital, you start as a laborer, you transition into a manager, and then eventually, like what John's talking about, I see that as your transition now becomes, I am the architect of this business. Nothing moves unless I say it moves. And at that point, that's a lot. It's a different kind of stress. When you're the laborer, the stress is on your body. You're getting beat all day, every day. I could put 100 hours in the field, and I promise you, I'll be beat. Anyone will be beat. And the same thing as a manager, when you're managing guys that don't listen or don't understand or take a little longer to grasp things that for you might click, that is also laborious. Like it's the same stress, just at a different, it's a different kind of stress at a different scale.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here today. This is a wonderful, wonderful episode. Definitely something to go back and listen to for sure. And so, Rudy, how can people connect with you? And Gene, if you can put this in the chat window, or we'll get you. Where do they go? How do they find you? How do they connect with you?
So I just hopped on the LinkedIn game. I'm on LinkedIn as Rudy Hernandez under DOV Landscaping. D as in dog, O as in octopus, V as in Victor. You can search up Dove Landscaping, Napa, California, and reach out via the website. My personal email will be sales at dovlandscaping.com. And I'd give my number, but we'd probably reach out to me via email.
There you go. Yeah. They say you're on all kinds of spam.
Oh,
So that's awesome. Chris, you had a comment or question, it looks like.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Great
Okay,
show.
good, 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 good.
Thanks,
Well,
Rudy.
dude, I'm proud of you, man. High five. Okay, you knocked it out of the park. Um, and I'm always curious, because John Pyron aside, okay, the business doctor, Chris, everybody, why do you even work with a mentor month to month still? Why?
that's a good question. And I guarantee that I would still have gone somewhere. I know that putting in the time would have got me somewhere, but I'm a little impatient and I know how much it is costing me to make the same mistakes over because I don't know the answer. And so for me, a mentor should cut that time. And that is what I was looking for. When I came to you, it wasn't like you had to sell me. Like I came to you, John, and I was like, "Hey, look, I need this. Like I need this as soon as possible. I'll drive over there right now."
Yeah.
I remember driving the hour and a half. I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna make this worth my time." And so for me, it was the time constraint that I felt. I don't want to get to where I want to get to in 20 years. I don't even want to get there in 10 years. I want to do that quick. And so that's what I wanted to pay for. And I was okay paying for it because not everyone is in the position that I'm at. I'm 22. I don't have a family. I still, like, my bills are low. I have the opportunity, so I might as well spend that money now.
Yeah. Yeah. And hit on what Ali was pointing out, and I've watched you do this, is you said, hey, I'm on this private group with other landscapers around the country, and we're bouncing ideas off of one another, and we're mentoring each other, and we're helping each other out, and you're sharing these ideas that you're learning and practicing in your business. And so, and you're a faith-based person, it's like you don't know where God's going to return them. I mean, our job is to show up and give and give and give, and the harvest is, where it's a water and plant, the harvest is up to the Lord, you know.
Yep.
And you literally are a living, breathing, walking example of a giver mentality. There's a book called The Go Giver. Highly recommend everybody gets it, and we'll end there. But high five, dude. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you've worked your tail off. I am like, by the time you're 25, it's gonna be so awesome to see. And because next year we're already at that point. Chris is already working on it. We're gonna be opening up a new location and just duplicating it again, and then
Yep.
duplicating it again, and then duplicating it again. And I've already connected you with Eddie Mohammed, because it's a
Yep.
whole lot easier to get capital when you don't need it.
Yeah.
Well, it's easier when you have Eddie in your corner.
Boom.
And it's 10 times easier when you have Eddie in your corner. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So,
Doesn't
all
get
right,
better than
guys.
that.
So next week is Thanksgiving. We will not be doing a call. Okay, next Wednesday. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And on my birthday, just got confirmed about a couple of hours ago, because I originally was going to be December 9th. But the facility I'm booking out says now we can only do it that Monday. And I'm like, that's my birthday. He goes, dude, what a better day to kick your new year off. And so on the December 8th, we're going to be doing let's see, 9, 10. I didn't graduate from high school. Hold on. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 6 hours workshop. We're going to cover all 5. It's going to be in person if you're in Knoxville, Tennessee. Okay. We're going to cater lunch. It's going to be at a facility here. We can max 45 people here, and then we're going to live stream it for those that can't make it in person. Okay. And you're going to hear about marketing, sales, operations and service delivery, bookkeeping, accounting, finance. Michael I'm going to scare the crap out of him here right now, because I'm going to make sure that he is on board with talking to us about tax. He doesn't know that yet. He just found out just now. Uh, you know, but we're
There's
going to be bringing together some serious talent. And I do this every year. I've been doing it for the last 12 years. It's finishing the year strong, going into the next year, making the theme this year, Gene's got it, is we're going to make 2026 our best year ever by finishing this year strong. And so you're going to get strategies to finish the year strong and literally get your business plan and your strategic plan done for 2026. You'll have homework. You'll have to submit it for review, for a free review and approval by the end of the year. But you're going to go into next year. If you go into next year with a plan, you're going to have 10 times more success than you will just winging it. Okay. And so I lay that all out, and so I'm inviting you to that. Gene will have the promotional out on that once Alicia approves it. So I ate my own dog food, Rudy. I'm like, I ran out of John Pyron and brought Chris Beasley on, and then I pulled the trigger on Alicia today. So I got to, because I have to get my own self out of the way. We all go through those stages in business. Always, always, always outsource, automate, delegate, or outsource your weaknesses, and then maximize your strengths. And I'll close with the line that Rudy gave us, which was probably the best golden nugget I heard all day. We all have 168 hours in a week, and he chose to get the most out of those 168 hours and push himself to the brink, because you just don't know if you're going to have next week. So go out and make it happen. Success is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility, and you're living that. You're living proof of that, brother. So I'm proud of you, man. So you deserve all the success. So
Boom.
have a great guys.
Appreciate it.
Right on.
You
All right,
guys
guys.
have a good one.
Happy holidays. Happy
All right.
Thanksgiving.